In today's video, we're going to be discussing how to have a beautiful birthday party without breaking the bank. Hi there, Joy here, and birthdays are my absolute favorite. So sometimes I get a little carried away. For my eldest, I was planning his party since the first day he was born, so I did go a little overboard. Okay. I went a lot overboard. My youngest recently turned one, and my boys are barely 1 year apart, so all my financial mistakes were fresh in my mind. This was my second chance to redeem myself. This time, I was prepared. We had a super duper awesome party and still stayed on budget. So today, I'm going to share all of my tips with you. Stick around to the end for a super important tip that will benefit everyone. Now, I will be referencing children's parties for this video, but remember, these tips can be applied to absolutely everyone and every single party. So keep that in mind as I continue to say child's party, okay? It's for absolutely everyone. Tip number 1, map out what is important to you and break them down into categories. Take every single aspect of a birthday party that is important to you and put them in categories. Whatever it is that is important to you and your family, make sure you put in your list. Maybe you all have an outfit that you would like to wear. Keep those categories in mind. Write them all down. We're going to do something with them very soon. When you write all of these categories down, you're going to create a plan for each of them one by one so that you're not overwhelmed by thinking of it as a whole party. Yes, essentially, it still is the whole party, but breaking them down into categories like that allows your brain to not be overwhelmed because you're looking at each particular area of the party versus going into it and attacking it as a whole. Not only that, it will help us to save money in one of the steps we're going to be applying shortly. What kind of things are important to you when planning a party? Which of the categories can you go without? Are you all about the food, the music? What are some of the categories that are most important to you? Me, I love making things fun. So you know I'm all about the games. My favorite party game is musical chairs. Yes, sometimes I'm the only adult playing it, but what, I can't help it. It's really fun. What's your favorite party game? Okay, and the next one is you're going to want to create a budget. This is super important because without a budget, you're going to keep going. Believe me. Been there, done that, bought the t-shirt on Amazon. No, but seriously, you're going to want to create a reasonable budget. I know that birthdays are important, but the budget is super important too because you don't want to affect the family with this party in a negative way. Make sure that you're setting realistic expectations for your party by picking a reasonable number. If you absolutely have to have a bigger number, then start well in advance so that you may be able to start a sinking fund for your child's party. A sinking fund is simply where you take some money every single month and you set it apart for a specific goal. But if you don't have much time, you're going to want to set a realistic budget. I'm going to go over some strategies a little bit later on in the video that you can use to stretch your money. So for now, make sure you keep a realistic number that will not affect the finances because when you're using money for one area, you're moving it out of another. Unless you have a money tree that we don't know about, try to stick to your budget. It's very important. You don't want to deplete another area of your life for this party. We are going to make the best of it. It is still going to be awesome. However, make sure that you have a budget that you will be sticking to. It's super important to create a budget in order to stay on track. How much money can you and your family realistically put into this party without affecting your other financial goals? Do you have that number? Good. So let's move on to the next step. So the next one is to prioritize. Remember when we set all those categories about what's important for a birthday party for you and your family? Okay, well now you're going to put them in order. Is the cake more important to you? Go ahead and put that first. Do you super value decorations? And put that on the top. Is the food not so important to you? maybe you could put that on the bottom. Maybe you don't need any party games. Only you know. Whatever is most important to you, make sure those are well at the top so that you know when you start running out of money for the party that you've got the big things covered. If you get the big things out of the way first, that way you can start adjusting your budget accordingly. Maybe you want a really nice cake, but you're okay with doing yourself decorations. So make sure that you put them in order of importance so that you know where to spend and where to skim. So the next one is to have a vision. It's so easy to get carried away. Everything looks good, but you don't know where to start. So with that in mind, have a vision. Think themes. If you don't like themes, that's okay. Still have a general idea of what this party should look like. Maybe you already have an idea in your mind. If not, you can also look on Pinterest or Google to see what ideas you might like to have. Personally, I really enjoy themes, but if you don't, you can still get a general idea or general vibe of what your party should look like. That way, when something doesn't line up to this description, you can skip it and save some money. Okay, and the next one is stay where you can with DIY. Are you a crafty person? If you are, craft away. If you're not, then maybe you have some family or friends that can help you. Otherwise, YouTube and Pinterest and Google are great resources of some of the things that you can make yourself to save some money on a party. Don't be shocked, but you can even make some awesome centerpieces. You'll be surprised at the things that you can make and save a lot of money, and they will look super awesome. So the sky's the limit. Be thinking about what things you would like to do or what's super expensive that maybe you can make at a fraction of the cost. Look it up online. You just never know what you might find. And who knows, you might even have fun making it. If not, you could always play some upbeat music and make it fun. Okay, and the next tip is to be willing to compromise. Can you get the balloons at Dollar Tree instead of Party City? Where can you get food to save a little bit of money? You can think about things that you can do in order to save some money by compromising. Dollar Tree has some awesome party decor. So think about the things that are a little bit less important to you and try to compromise in those areas if you can. To stay under budget, this time we decided to get the pizza from Domino's versus our regular local pizza restaurant because we knew we were going to get a couple of more boxes than we're accustomed to. But you can go ahead and decide what is the least important things in your party and see where you can compromise from there. As far as the cake, I was able to make one by following a recipe that I will link down below. And it was less expensive to do it this way because when I called the bakers, they were telling me about 40 plus. And that was a big chunk of my budget right there. So that wasn't going to happen. And in case I messed it up, I had a backup option to go to our local supermarket and get a cake there. They're actually super tasty and they cost $16 for a 7-inch cake. So look around your area. I actually was able to find a super easy to follow recipe on YouTube. So just look around. You never know what you can find. Thank God for YouTube, am I right? If you're enjoying this video so far, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. And also let me know in the comments, do you generally budget for your events? And if you do, are you over budget generally? Or do you tend to be under or right on track? Let me know in the comments. Okay, and the next one is to have some freebies. What are some things that you can do for free when it comes to your event? Can you have some free games? Or can you maybe have a free playlist? Go ahead and use that to your advantage. Maybe you could even have dancing contests. Let's try to think of free things that we could incorporate in parties, especially for a children's party. You can give them like a paper plate and have them color away. Or maybe instead of getting a photographer to the party, you can possibly do a one photography session for your child, which would be a lot cheaper. Or if someone in the family can take photos and they don't mind, go ahead and have them do it. These things add up and can save a lot of money. Okay, and the next one is to use your resources. If you already have some kind of music streaming service, make sure you use that for your child's party as well. They have a lot of super cheap Bluetooth speakers also on Amazon. So there's absolutely no need for a DJ. Unless you have a cousin that can DJ or something, then in that case, that is also your resource. Do you have a family member that can bake? That will also be a good use of your resources. Let them know well in advance so that they can plan accordingly. My husband happens to be super good at taking photos. He just knows all of the angles and everything. He's really good. But my point is, if you know of anyone or even yourself things that can be done, make sure you use those resources and you will save some big bucks. What resources can you use for your next birthday party to save some money? And the next one is to be realistic. Yes, have your dreams, but also be realistic. Do you have a child that enjoys pizza but dislikes pineapples? You may not be able to have pineapples in your dream Hawaiian party unless, hmm. I mean, after all, it is their party. Just do the things that they like, even if it does clash a little bit with the theme. Oh, great. Now I can't stop thinking about pineapple pizza. What do you think? Does pineapple belong on pizza or not? What's your favorite pizza topping? Okay, and the final tip is to be reasonable. Keep the children in mind. You know them best. They may be a little bit shy or a little bit tired. Keep them in mind. After all, it's their party. Let's not push our children too much. They are the most important thing here. We have to make sure that we stand up for them, make sure that we're picking all the right decisions for them, have the party on the best time for them. If they're little and they still nap, maybe late afternoon is best after their nap. We have to make sure that we're being their advocate and make sure that their needs are being met. I know everyone might want a piece of the birthday boy or girl, but let's settle for giving them a piece of cake or some of that pineapple pizza. Okay, so there you have it. Those are my best tips on how to have a fabulous birthday party without breaking the bank. Be sure to share this video with someone you know that is having a party, or maybe save it for you for later so that you can use it for one of your birthday parties. If you like this kind of content, feel free to subscribe. I have a lot of videos on homemaking, productivity, and positivity. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, to God be the glory. Bye.